Hello, welcome to Actual Play, Twilight Throne and the Houses of Rune. We're back, looking amazing as always, and we're here to see what the end of the scheme looks like. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. I still have background music playing, which I did not mean to do, but we'll just dial that down. Segue out, yeah. I meant that to be a smoother fade. Oh well. I use he, him pronouns, and I am a frequent host of this channel of Actual Play. As usual, as normal, any funds that we get through the channel are split between the Trans Defense and Education Fund and the Trans Legal Defense and Education Fund, and Black Lives Matter. And so if you click on the buttons, then we just take that money and we divvy it between those two. So you should do that. That's a good thing. Or do other good things in your life with the resources that you have. I am playing Eloise, who uses she and we pronouns, depending on whether her veil is on or off. And she is from the House of Blood and Bone, which is kind of no more. We sort of wrecked it. We sort of wrecked my house. So who knows what house Eloise is part of now? I feel like her other house of Ash and Flame is also getting wrecked. So it's fine. She'll just be this orphan child, this orphan noble. It'd be exciting. It'll be fun. I'm excited to see what happens to Eloise and her fellow nobles. That's me. How about you, Connie?
Hey everyone, I'm Connie. When my pronouns are they, he, she, and when I am here on the Twilight Throne at the Throne of Annihilation, I am playing Kavar, whose pronouns are they, she, the Lust Maker. She is a very buff, very butch, very emotionally constipated lesbian, non-binary lesbian, who is trying to kill God ? But it's for love. I promise it's for love. And she thinks that these silly mortals trying to usher in this new era of annihilation for the divine, they are foolish and misguided and must be punished. But just in case their plan works, which it's looking like it might, she is trying to. She's got a scheme going on where she's attempting to not become annihilated as part of the end of the world, all because of love. So I promise you, she's got a good heart, but she hides it under her guise as the Lust Maker.
Under all those muscles, right?
Are you
under all those muscles.
Somewhere?
Exactly. Yeah. She's just listen. If she could punch her problems away, then this series would have been over like 3 episodes ago. But she can't. So that's me. Misha, take it away.
Hi, Misha B. I use she, their pronouns. I'm playing Ada of the House of Glass and Clay. Ada is in the midst of, I think her long-term plan is to not necessarily dethrone God, but sort of dethrone God and take the throne, in that, she might be trying to take over for Mutakad. We'll see. And she's not above seduction, and she's not above assassination. Both work. They're different tools in the arsenal. Everything is still on the table. Yeah. How about you, Ray?
Hi, I'm Ray. My pronouns are they, he. I'm just amazed that we're in a game where we have to say things to Lust Maker. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, and I just love all these characters. So yeah, I'm very lucky to be the GM who gets to play this game that I'm working on. So it's very, very cool with everybody here. And I'm excited for us to see what it looks like when we guide the House of Blood and Bone to annihilation as we perform the ritual of reincarnation. So it's going to be very, very awesome. And yeah, and we're probably going to see a house consumed by the curse when we go about with our Clock of Ruin stuff. So exciting stuff. Lots of stuff to play test. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. Yeah, so I think we're going to start with our agenda flashbacks, right? So this is a regular mechanic of the game, wherein after the scheme, we have a chance to look back at the scheme that just unfolded, and each of your characters go, well, actually, in the middle of all that, this is what I was doing to go after my own ambitions and my own agenda. So it's an opportunity for you to showcase how cunning your noble really is, right? So this is our first time doing it, so I will read out the actual text. So at the end of a scheme, a noble invokes a single flashback to declare they had acted in the interest of any of their agendas. They roll for an action that they could have attempted at during the scheme. The GM, that's me, sets a corruption cost when you activate a flashback action. It is only during an agenda flashback that a noble's agenda clock may be ticked. So if you already took action to fulfill an agenda during the scheme, like it was really obvious to us that, you were very clearly angling for it, then you add a die to the roll. Right. And then so I apply a cost depending on like how much, like if it's an ordinary action that you could have easily done 0 corruption all the way to like 2+ corruption, depending on how complex it is. So it's a reflavored Forge in the Dark flashback, basically. So yeah. Does anyone have let me summarize what we did last time just so it's a little easier for us. Man, we were talking about AO3 before coming on, so like I'm just
I blame my kid. Sorry.
So what first came to mind for me, what is going on between the child who is no longer the child, Azrael, having this bit of a moment with Chalcedonia, definitely getting their own fan fiction there, and AO3 is what I'm thinking is going on. So, but in proper order. What we achieved last time, Eloise, you were able to manipulate Chalcedonia of the House of Sword and Halo to fight the Avatar of Death, right? And so in so doing, let's see, we're able to gain access to death itself and empower, weaken, and destroy it for the ritual. And then we had Kavar. Oh, there were like some really cool, neat moments between you and your brother, you and your mother, father, right? Also, that time we rode for Eloisa, I just remembered. But yeah, and so you were able to compromise a powerful noble from the House of Blood and Bone. In particular, it was Kai, the commander of the Legion of the Dead, right? So that was very cool. And we also had, ooh, that's right. Ada was like especially vicious with, I almost feel bad for the elder of the House of Blood and Bone, the obsidian skeleton.
I feel like the obsidian skeleton just got a big old target on their back, and it was just like, sorry, bud, you got to go down. Like you control life and death. That's just too big a deal. No, none for you.
Yeah, 100%. You hijacked that ritual effortlessly, I may add. And so now they've completely lost. But they're convinced that it was their fault, right? And so in so doing, you were able to manipulate the records and flow of karma, right? So those are our major points. We had a few others that were very cool. Like, for example, Ada had that moment with the Wolf Commander, right? So, I forgot to put connected to, I should put House of Ash and Flame. But yeah, okay. So those are our main things. There are other bits and pieces, but yeah, does anyone have an idea for what their character was up to during an agenda flashback? So this is a good time to look at once again, you can work on these clocks in any order, right? So it's up to you what you feel would be most appropriate.
I have an idea for Kavar.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. She would have wanted to work on the agenda of convince Astra to leave me behind. To turn Astra fully mortal to ensure her liege's survival past annihilation in case Operation Cultivate Door fails. So I think, I mean, how do we do flashbacks?
Yeah, no, just tell me like, yeah, because you had a lot of moments with her, right, with Astra. So do you think it happened like during that time when Astra was like distracting your brother, or was it happening?
Ooh, Maybe
when
in
she was
like
protecting the child.
maybe in that like breath between when like Astra was like when she got to step away from Chalcedonia and before Kavar had to distract uh Eloise while
Ooh.
Ada was out doing dastardly
Yeah.
stuff. Maybe in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
between, like in that moment of like freedom that she had.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I think what happens is like we rewind exactly to that moment and it slows down when the two of you like lock eyes right before you separate, right? To do your cunning noble things. So what is it that how do you try to work towards convincing Astra, because Astra is so dedicated to you? You are more important to Astra than Astra herself.
Jesus, yeah. Okay, so I think we just sort of like see like it's the party's still happening at this point. Like people are like bustling to and fro, so they're sort of like anonymous in the crowd, like in the middle of this like basically like this bar like inn area, like filled with like these different colored, different smelling mists and clouds of like smoked things, right? And we just find Kavar sort of leaning against this like massive lounge. But for once, she's not posturing. She's just sort of like leaned in next to Astra, who sat next to her, and she's just going, Astra, you can't keep staying by my side forever. One day all of these houses will crumble, and I will not have you be buried underneath the rubble with it.
And when you say that, Astra doesn't look directly at you, right? And they look out towards the crowd and they say, my lord Kavar, we've talked about this many times, and I've told you that even amidst the rubble, with ashes in my hand, I will never leave you. I am the one constant.
Astra, that once might have been true, but things have changed. I need you no longer. You've served me well as my right hand, but your time has reached its end. And she's like trying to push her away.
This is
so
like that Lassie, like, go, Lassie, don't stay with me.
Yeah.
I
Basically.
don't love you anymore.
I'm already in pain, Sean. Why are you making it worse? Anyway. I think when you do that, before we see the roll, like there's a moment where you see Astra like hold on to the hilt of their sword, and they say, my lord, have you replaced me with another?
It would be well within my right to strike you down for such an impudent question. But to hold and to honor the service you have rendered me thus far, I spare you. Yes, I have eyes only for another. Here she comes. And I think that's when she lifts her chin to indicate Eloise entering the space.
Because this is followed by like hot tub scene with Eloise.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god, the sheer amount of pain. Okay, so let's see how well Astra can see past this, right?
Oh god.
Like no matter what, we're gonna tick forward, but we're gonna see how well, right? How well this goes.
Okay. All right.
Right. So it sounds like, what action do you think this is? It sounds like
It's
you're
actually-
concealing.
Yeah, I am. I'm not swaying. I have 0 pips in conceal.
Yeah. I feel like you could make an argument for demand as well, but you also have 0.
I also have 0 pips in demand.
Right, like they're big. I feel like either one of those would be accurate.
Oh, but you still have people who have intrigue links with you. And right at the end of this, the intrigue links will reset. So this is a good time to use them, right? So if anyone wants to.
So remind us, Ray, does Connie spend one of the intrigue links that Kavar has, or is it one of us spends an intrigue link that we have with Kavar?
Right. So in this case, it would be, well, all the time in intrigue links, when you spend yours. So if Eloise spends it, then Kavar gets to roll with an extra die, or ignores a single consequence.
I'm
right?
happy. I have one with Kavar since Eloise is the one showing up as the one that you're
It feels like
saying
it makes sense.
is
Yeah.
your yes. I'll spend my link with you.
Yes.
That leaves me linkless, by the way. Sorry, y'all. I can't help anymore. I had 2 links, spent them both. But yeah, so you get a bonus die on that.
Awesome. And you can still mark a personal or house advantage, and I'm happy to offer you a bargain. So, you can build your power
Okay.
here.
You know what? I will. I want this to go well. So if I roll well, she will not see past.
Yes.
And we'll take
Yes.
even
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Jeez. I kind of want her to see past, but
Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. We can fine tune this because it's how big is this clock? It's a pretty big clock, isn't it?
it's
It's
an
an 8
8.
hit. Yeah.
It's an
So no
8.
matter how well you
yeah.
do, this is not
It's
going to
not
work.
gonna.
Even if you crit
You're
on
right.
this, it will not
You're right.
succeed. It will get close, but it won't.
But I do want the wedges. I don't want to have to keep pushing her away. I want as few scenes as possible where I push her away. So I'm gonna spend.
You want to crit on this, then. Yeah.
I'm gonna spend a personal advantage, which will be a beautiful weapon, and I will justify it by looking at her and saying, "I do have to punish your insolence somehow. Your blade. Hand it over."
Of course, my lord. Astra says without hesitation and draws it like expertly, not betraying anything.
I think it was a long sword that Kavar forged for her. Like a very special sword that represents their relationship to each other. Almost as a cavalier and the lord they're sworn to protect.
When
and
we
she yeah.
So I was just saying, when later on, when the show is made and we zoom in on it, in the post-production, or when they sell this sword on eBay, there's gonna be the little K heart, that one of the prop people just made for shits and giggles, right?
Oh, definitely. I think what makes this sword unique is the pommel looks like instead of usually a gem that's set as the pommel, it's a solid gold nugget almost. A beautiful. It's kind of a almost, the only way to describe it really would be a waxy sword. It's not just straight. It almost curves like a scimitar, and it's it ripples all the way down. And this nugget sort of I think bleeds almost like wax down the hilt and stains the blade red. The gold turns to red, almost in a reverse of the golden halo piercing into Kavar's face and causing her to bleed all the time. It looks like Kavar. The sword looks like her.
Oh my god, gorgeous. So sad. Okay, so you have the 2 die. Are you happy with the 2, or do you want?
I want another one, baby. I will do a house advantage too.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, let's see. House of Sword and Halo. My advantages are a dueling weapon, righteous anger, an awesome display of power, a host of angels, and reveal a dead god. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Reveal a dead god. Okay, I can do that. I have an idea. As I take this sword from my liege, from Astra, I think the camera pulls back a little bit to reveal the crumbled statue behind me in the space of the god of love. And I look upon Astra and I say, Aphrodite has long since been slain, Astra. There is no reason for you to stay by my side aside from loyalty, and I banish you now.
The pain. Okay. I think when you do that, Astra abruptly gets up, slams, and you can tell that it's she is unable to control herself. They slam their fist onto the surface nearby and then force their fingers open, right? So let's see how that roll goes.
Is that 3d6?
That is 3d6.
Come on, show me the money. I got a 6.
Nice.
Oh my god.
It was worth it.
It was worth it. Okay, so on a 6, it is 3 segments, right? Out of 8. Okay. So
Okay.
go ahead and change that. And so I think the way that it looks, before Eloise comes by, Astra leans in close and says, and this Astra has never done this. Astra has
Mm.
never pushed back on anything you have ever said, right? But this time Astra says, "You may take my sword, my lord, and you may take your words and promises from me. But I know how you feel about me, and that is something you cannot take away from me."
Yet, Astra, that is something I cannot take away from you yet. Now go.
And Astra bows low, right? And then pushes her head up high. You can see the rest of the Sword and Halo folks, like the rest of the nobles, notice the lack of the sword, and they all start talking. And you hear one of them very sharply say, "It was only a matter of time. We all knew Astra wasn't good enough for Kavar."
Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay.
It's the other way around so badly.
I love that, Ray. And because what Astra said cements the next agenda, the next step to advancing this agenda of pushing her away for Kavar, which is to make her forget that Kavar, what they had in the first place, right? Like that's going to be the next step, right?
Oh
So,
my god.
Oh,
Jesus. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Perfect. So we started with this really beautiful, heart-wrenching agenda flashback. So do we have
love it.
ideas for Eloise and Ada?
Can you do things that would further a scheme?
Ooh, this is like focusing on your agenda, but if you want to try to like also include a scheme, are we looking at the House of Ash and Flame?
Yeah, I was looking at gaining access to the secret throne.
I mean,
Ooh.
you have one of your agenda items not selected yet, so you could just pick one of your agendas, that third agenda, and like make that part of the scheme or something like that, if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, maybe it could be like take power from each of the houses, right?
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah. But yeah. Do you want a little more time to think about
Yeah,
that?
give me a couple minutes.
Yeah. Take your time. So, Eloise, do you have an idea?
I do. I just don't have an idea that I feel like has the kind of emotional resonance to keep up with what we just saw. Like
That
like
pain.
that pain.
So
I mean,
good.
I have two agendas that both would make sense. One is restore the spark to the child, which kind of we did. I mean, that like a little bit. I'm almost thinking of rewrite like that. That
Right.
feels like that was like just part of the fiction in some degree
Mhm.
because like the child now has a name and is kind of the spark, and the other one is just consuming humanity, which like I sort of talked about my
Mhm.
like I kind of want to just go to a realm and just like eat it all. And so I feel like maybe after the hot tub scene and after Kavar was like, "What is it you really just want?" And we were both like, and Kavar was like, "What I really want is true love. That's the forbidden." And I was like, "No, you should have true love. But what I really want is to like eat a whole realm." And Kavar, you kind of said like, "Yeah, I could probably hook you up with that." Um, I think Connie, I don't want to step on infringe upon your sort of NPCs, but I feel like your master of doors. Let me pull them up.
Is this the administrative? Let's see.
Let me find who this is. Henrika, the administrator of the doors. Like, are you cool with me just sort of sidling up and seeing if there's like a minor realm, a small realm, a little insignificant realm?
Super cool with that. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Awesome.
gosh. I'm gonna say Enrica is enjoying their newfound status, right?
Mhm.
They're allowed into one of the inner circles, the party within a party within a party situation. So they're not within the within, but they are within, right? So one of those. Yeah, I think Enrica's there, right?
Yeah.
Many teeth splitting across the face, consuming delectable god flesh meat that's been preserved carefully throughout the century.
Good old Godflesh meat. Yeah. Somehow Eloise. I mean, I imagine that Eloise like took off clothes to get in the hot tub, but for whatever ridiculous reason, she is like back in her regular regalia, but it's like dripping. It's just like water is like coming out of the rivulets of the chainmail and whatnot. These are not practical things to do. You should not get in the hot tub with your chainmail, but like whatever, we're nobles. We can just look cool, hot, and sexy all the time. And so she is. Um and I think like there's some like massive like haunch of god meat or something like that like we see like the camera sort of fade, like just pan off Eloise for a second, and then we hear this slurping noise, and when it comes back, she's readjusting her veil, and it's gone. Like this huge like mammoth of something is gone. And like she does this in front of Henrika. She like wants Henrika to see this consumption. I don't know why I'm so. Maybe I just need a snack. Maybe Sean just needs a snack. But I'm just...
This is some form of bleed. I understand.
This is definitely bleed in. I don't think I'm getting a lot of bleed out in this case. But I sort of like look to see if that gets any reaction from Henrika. Like if they are also sort of like they have their big old all these teas. Like are they enjoying eating?
Ooh, yeah. I think like you realize before that moment they had sort of been holding back on their appetite, like like when someone shows up and they don't know which of the many forks or knives they're supposed to use. Enrica's a little out of one's elements here, right? They're not completely sure of how to handle this level of nobleness. So when they see you just come in and just slurp this thing into oblivion, they're like, oh, okay. So you see them like noticeably, visibly relax.
Nice.
And they look towards you and they say, ah, of course, the all-consumer. It is a pleasure to meet you, my lady. The Lord Kavar has spoken well of you, which is not true. You haven't talked about Eloise. Enrica. But Enrica is going to take every shred of power she can get in this moment.
I'm sure I'm sure she has. Lord Kavar has such an interest, it seems, in my well-being, and we like look back at that seduction. I look like as though like, oh, Kavar speaks about me. Oh, wow, I can't believe the lust maker. But whew. And I say, but she's also they've also spoken of you and your amazing abilities. I want to see what's behind those doors. I want to see it now. I want you to take me there. And I got like really close, and I'm just like, I want this thing. And like, if you want to satisfy me, you will give me this thing. I'm just not. I don't need to, because there's this power differential. I don't need to like be coy with her. I could be. That would be smart, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Oh my! I think there's a moment where Enrica is like, "Is this a euphemism?" Like, kind of trying to. Is the lady asking for something else? All right. So, what action do you think this is?
I think I'm demanding. I'm just like, take me to a realm. Give me those tasty
num
bits.
num realms.
Those nummy realms.
Right now in the middle of a party. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
Also, it kind of seems like she might be in, or they might be into it. Like, it kind of seems like they might be like, oh, I've sort of wanted to eat things too. Like, maybe we're gonna go
feast together,
like a buffet party. Yeah, like on a realm, like a whole civilization. I'm sorry, genocide is wrong. I do not condone it in any way. But like in this game, my character, yes, is going to just like eat everything because I got to consume humanity. Little realm by realm.
Well, we have to consume them before they consume us, right?
Exactly. Precisely, thank you. The only way I can make a safe place for my child to live is if I completely consume all of humanity to create a brand new like realm of existence for them to live in.
Right.
So
Very
I love
important.
this Twilight Throne justification. It's always my favorite part. All right, so this sounds like demand. You have 2 dots in that. Would you want to roll the 2, or do you want to try to finagle your
I
chances?
mean, I think there's no reason. Like, this is the end of the. This is the end of the. This is the end of the.
Yeah, everything will reset after this anyway.
This will reset afterwards, so I might as well use a. I might as well use a personal advantage or a house advantage. I'm looking at them right now. A willing victim. My goodness.
I mean, she can be very willing for you, my lady.
I know, right? I think I want to. I think I want to instead let's find out like Henrika's desires and like what they're up to. By I'm going to reveal a past life, and I want to. I want them because we've all lived like thousands, like bazillion years. I want to find a realm in which they have past life is kind of it doesn't I don't actually mean their like resurrection. I mean like something they've done in their past. I want to go to a realm where they are like embarrassed by something, like they did something bad and they're like, oh, I didn't want anyone to know about this. I'm like, cool, we're gonna eat that one, but I want to like so
That's
I don't know
smart.
I don't know how Eloise knows this, but I think
you are a keeper, right? You know how
I am
to.
the keeper of secrets, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think I'm going to kind of double up on it. I'm going to reveal a past life, and I'm going to use a dark secret, and I'm going to just make up the darkest secret, which is I know how you betrayed the person you served, and whatever it was like exactly in their same role that they have with Kavar. Like I know how your former person you betrayed them, and like we don't ever need anyone to know about that because we're just going to eat that whole realm up, so that story can never come out.
And so when you say that, right, Enrica's like, I see your reputation as the watcher of House and Blood and Bone has not served you well. You know more secrets than the rest of the nobles know. They say like sort of giving in a little bit. So let's see the roll. That's going to be like 4 dice.
I think I'm rolling 4. Yeah. I need to click on the dice room to do the dicey thing. Yeah. As cool as I've still made this, I like right now where my heart really is what's happening with Astra. But well
cut to what's going on behind.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Rolled. That is a crit. That is 2 6s, I think.
Amazing.
4 dice.
Yeah. So 5 segments. Ooh, that's good, isn't it?
That's great. It's an 8 tick claw. So I am very happy to. I think we kind of go. I think the way this looks is that we kind of go a little overboard. I think there's like, I think that there's like 5 because I got 5 ticks. So why not? I think like there's like 5 realms with like under construction, do not disturb signs on them after this. Like the doors there's lots of them. You know, we got plenty of room, but I think we just kind of go on a frenzy and.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to like, how gay do I want this to go? It's like
I would like it to be very, because like my version of it is like very monstrous, where like open up a door, tentacles just roam out, very Cthulhu style, and like the skies of these realms just darken as like everything is enveloped. But like that's cool and all, but please add any sexy elements that you are feeling. You know.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it's gonna be. I was thinking like the only reason Enrica can like show you these doors in this moment at the party is because they keep these specific doors with them, and in order to reveal it, like their mouth has to open even wider to show the door that they have hidden there.
So you're saying we have to make out to
yeah,
go through
yeah,
these doors.
that's what
Okay,
I was. Yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
Right, it makes sense.
I'm cool with this.
And I think what you learn also to justify that crit, oh Master of Secrets, is that not only had Henrika, like in all these other dimensions, in all these past lives, had betrayed their lord, each of them was a different version of Lord Kavar.
Oh no. There can only, I mean, I think this is why it's like, oh, we got to get them all, because it's like there can only be one Kavar. No other Kavars out there. Like,
yeah, and I will say
Eloise is clearly affected by Kavar, and she's like, no, we must consume all of those. We can't leave any of them. Well, only this Kavar can remain.
Yeah, and
one
the thing is, like,
more than enough.
and each of these dimensions, like the moment of betrayal was frozen, with Lord Kavar being betrayed and being killed, and in each and every single instance, Astra was by Kavar's side.
I feel like, Connie, you have to justify some way in which you learn that fact. Like, I'm fine any way you want to learn that fact, but
does it happen during the hot tub scene? Can we?
I mean, I feel like this would be, I think this was right after, but because I don't, because this is like, because I found Enrica like after a hot tubbing. I found Enrica like at the the buffet table, but like obviously like you could have spotted us later, like
yeah, maybe Kavar even like installed a little thing in order to keep track of what you were doing afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's smart.
You got
actually.
very
Ooh,
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So maybe I put like a little spy thing on you if you're okay with that. Like a golden eye, right? Like maybe I like patted you on the back, right? Like before we left, and like where my hand leaves, like you see just like the shimmer of an eye glowing at like the base of your skull that sort of disappears against your skeleton skin.
Sure, yeah, skeleton skin.
Yeah.
I think that's great, unless whatever Misha does is even cooler and allows like a third person to connect the dots, in which case we should retcon it to be that. So I think agreed. That's like a good like holding thing, unless we get like some other NPC that like, oh, they would have seen it, they would have, yeah. So yes, I'm very satisfied with just consuming all these realms. I think Eloise is sort of taken by Kavar, and so wants this like, I just want there to be one. This Kavar is the only one. And I want to hide all those past sins, because that definitely works. You could definitely just consume realms, and like then whatever happened there doesn't matter. Never happened.
100%. Rich people do it all the time, and not a problem.
Yeah, right.
All right. So perfect. So Ada, what do we see of you for your agenda flashback?
So I just want to make sure we have access to a willing victim, correct?
That is correct. As long as you haven't used it yet, yes. Everyone has their own.
I was to say, is that on everyone's?
Yes, everyone.
On house?
I have had schemes where everyone used willing victim. It's a very popular choice, so you can, in fact, use a willing victim.
Nice.
Excellent. Then, so while I'm chatting with the Wolf Commander, I'm kind of riffling through his mind a little. I'm using I'll Never Forget You, which is one of my house abilities. And the feature that I would like to use is transfer a copy of his memory. While I'm chatting with him, my servant, whose name I'm blanking, Mina, my handler, the
Mm-hmm.
large faceless mannequin looking thing in the Victorian garb that follows me around uh, just because it's creepy. Is
out.
kind of, yeah, right, creepy doll, why not? But yeah, they're standing nearby me, and so I'm chatting with the wolf commander, and we're having this, kind of pleasant conversation. uh but while we're having that conversation, if it were like a tech movie, there'd be like a progress bar on a flash
On a
drive
download,
copy. Yeah, but there's not. What you do see though is Mina's the blank face that Mina has is kind of got this after image almost of the wolf commander kind of strengthening as it happens, but there's a veil, so you have to really be looking to see it. Uh, and so we're kind of pulling that out of the commander and into Mina uh, while I chat.
Oh, nice. Okay, so go ahead and spend, that's 2 house power, 1 to activate the ability and 1 for that extra feature. Yeah, and I forgot to mention, I haven't mentioned the corruption cost up to this point because everyone has done such a great job of like syncing up the scene perfectly with something that's easy to pull off. So yeah. Anyway, yes. Do you have an idea in mind for the memory, or would you like me to supply it for you?
So what the memory I'm looking for is a approaching home, for lack of a better word. I'm trying to see what the entrance to hell looks like so that I can find it again later.
Yeah, I want to say that that there was once like this grand entrance to hell, right? But during that last war, during the battle where Eloise was given forcibly to the House of Blood and Bone and all that, that particular gateway was destroyed, right? And so no one has been able to like. Everyone knows that the demons have been moving back and forth, but no one knows how they've managed to do it, right? And so that's when uh you have this memory of the wolf commander, like, because like usually they're this anthropomorphic, right, like huge wolf, dude. But you can see like before the party, before the events, you see them like within their domain of hell, like taking on a more monstrous, fully wolf-like form and several eyes. Like, wait, let me just double check our lines and veils because this
As
is
long as you're
a
not poking them out, we're fine.
okay. Just double checking. Okay. And so several eyes are like through the fur, like moving in different directions. Some of them are blood red, some of them are bright and golden, right? And you realize they're eyes that belong to different people, to different souls. And you can hear the eyes are all focusing on a single point, and you realize that the entrance to the ashen flame, it moves each time. And so each of these demons have an indicator of some kind to like triangulate where it is and head towards it. Right. That's the only way they've been able to protect their realm lately, is that it shifts each and every time. But when you gain this memory, you also gain access to how to create a ritual for yourself, like create your own magic so that you can triangulate it later.
Nice.
But yeah. But so for now, Mina's the one that has it, right?
Yes.
The memory.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we cut to Mina, and like, yeah, so we see them in like their gorgeous like gothic like attire, the black veil. And so there's a moment where the eyes turn wolf like and then shift again, and the memory like, and then they just nod, right? And you know that she nods, and then you know that it's done, right? So there's a moment where the wolf commander is like, oh, sorry, I got distracted there for a moment.
Well, surely one such as myself couldn't hold the interest of one such as you for very long. I'm sure you have more important things to attend to.
Oh, you're much too modest, my dear. He says, cracking a huge wolfish grin. All right. So which clock do we think we were working on?
Uh, 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 uh.
Because I can see it as a way of learning chaos magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. If you wanted to be that, unless you wanted to
I could also see it as a way to isolate Mudokad near their houses by like finding the secret entrance to hell to send Mudokad
Yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah, that's
I like
kind of
that
cool.
one better. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that
that's
one
really
better.
cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So this feels. What action do you think best represents? It felt very magic-y to me.
Yeah. Definitely more magic than not.
Yeah, I can see it being shaper tune.
Yeah.
You're gonna say, Sean?
I was just saying, when you shape or mold or contain or realign magic, that felt.
Yeah,
tune
that
also
feels
makes
more
a lot of sense.
shape than wield, really.
Yeah. So you have 1 dot in shape. Would you? I mean, if you want to use a willing victim, right? Which you did, I think, right?
Yes.
So
Because
that means you have 2.
a place to transfer it into.
Yeah, perfect. So you have 2 dice already there.
And then,
oh yeah, would you like someone to like spend an intrigue link with you? Like we could have that happen if you like. If someone has one with you.
I think I'll stick with the 2. Well,
yeah.
Can I have a devil's bargain?
Of course, my dear.
Perfect.
Would you like a house bargain or a curse bargain?
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you want it to like align with your curse of kindness? Ooh, that would be
Yeah,
a good one.
it's got to align with the curse of kindness. Let's be honest here.
I think the bargain I have to offer you is that while you're removing this memory, you come across an incredibly painful one that the Wolf Commander has, and you feel your heart shift, take on a golden sheen. You could help the Wolf Commander forget this horrible memory that's holding him back.
but of course, that would mean.
Yeah, that's an important one, probably.
Well, and I assume that it would mean you would be taking it, right? You would have to.
Yeah. Shall I tell you what the memory is?
Sure.
So you see that it's a memory of the Wolf Commander across Mutakad, and Mutakad saying, "You told me that you loved him. Is that right?" And you can hear the Wolf Commander say, "No, my throne, I was mistaken. I do not love him." And because this is your memory, you can feel his heartbeat and you can feel him screaming on the inside. And Muntakad says, No, I cannot let anything get in the way between you and me, beloved.
Ow. Okay.
We're going to veil a little bit of what happens next, but basically Mutakad made sure that whoever the Wolf Commander loved suffered greatly.
Yeah, I got that feeling.
Yeah.
Good to know. I know what lies ahead of me now. Foreshadowing. I see how you did that.
I was super subtle.
Very subtle. Very subtle.
Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
Right. And so
Actually,
do I have
to take it or can I morph it?
You can. You have that ability.
Then I want to twist it just a hair. We're still going with kindness, but what he remembers, instead of that person being in insufferable pain, is that person being in inestimable pleasure. So he got like whisked away to a pleasure palace instead of tortured to death.
Yes. Right. I like that a lot. And so we see like the expression the expression of pain and pleasure, they're so close to each other.
Right? It's
You
not that
know?
far of a twist.
No, not at all. Not at all. And the moment you do that, you can imperceptibly, right? The wolf commander's posture changes and you realize how he had been carrying this pain for so long. And now he doesn't anymore. You freed him from it.
It's very sweet of you.
That's not going to bite me in the ass.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so you have 3 dice to roll with.
Yeah.
I really love an assassin with the curse of kindness. It's just
I
fantastic.
get a 5.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so on a 5, that
that's 2
is 2 ticks. Right. So go ahead. Ooh, that's already halfway. Nice. Very good, very good. Ooh, I realize it's a little broken. Let me fix that. Okay. There we go. Okay. But yeah. Okay, perfect, perfect. All right. So that's everybody's agenda flashbacks. The first time takes a little long because we're all getting used to it, but yeah, excellent, excellent. So next, I think this is the first time that we're doing a ritual of reincarnation. And so this is the fun part of a playtest. I have no idea what's going to happen next. I was thinking we could like take turns each of the components that you got describing what your part of the ritual looks like. And then we'll decide together like what happens when the House of Blood and Bone is annihilated. Right. So, and what that means. My thoughts are that the house still exists, but it is deeply corrupted and changed in some way. It is fully embraced by tragedy and annihilation, right? So is what I'm thinking, right? So that you still have access to all your house abilities for Eloise and everything. And we get to see them all suffer, you know.
Yeah. A little less Fields of Elysium, a little more like stuck in the River Styx forever, kind of like death doesn't have any kind of resting spot. It's just a sort of endless voyage. I don't know, just always feeling deprived. Yeah, I'm down with that. How do you folks feel as the ones who orchestrated the whole house's demise? I'm also fine with Ray having to figure out what happens when a house is destroyed completely and utterly that someone's part of, because that's also good playtesting.
I know, but to be fair, it's already pretty hard because once the House of Blood and Bone falls, the blight you have is at the start of every scheme, everyone marks corruption. Right. So there's already like a hard mode. As each house falls, the curse gets stronger and stronger. So it exerts its influence over everybody. So that's already intense. But yeah, I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
I feel bad about taking away your house advantages and your house abilities. So good playtesting.
Yeah, Connie and Misha, what are you feeling like? What do you want for the House of Blood and Bone in terms of where do you want them to go?
What a fun question.
Right?
I know, like, how do we does Ada have any specific desires? Because I feel like Kavar would want would want their demise to be spectacular.
I think Ada's used to working in the shadows. So it doesn't need to be flashy for her. It just needs to be done. So, you know, the subtle twists of the knife here and there are more than enough for her purposes.
Does perhaps as one who's been consuming realms, does perhaps like the realm of the dead collapse so they can't return? So the nobles are still in exist, but now they're in some diaspora. They don't have any like holdings or lands or anything
Oh
like that.
dang! And
Like
they're
you,
and the
I like
force
that.
because
the
you
they're-
lured them all to the House of Sword and Halo, right? And they all went out of their like safe space.
Yes.
And
Oh,
if
and
they
their
come
safe
back and it's
spaces collapsed. Ooh, I like that. You know, they have nowhere to flee to, and they can be killed
Yeah.
in heaven now, right? Like, because I assume, like, to maybe world build a bit, like if these nobles, like, their bodies die outside of their realm, they probably just like reform or come back,
Right.
right? Like in their home. But if their home is destroyed, they have
Their
nowhere to go.
their
They
seat
will
of
like
power.
Yeah.
they will die, right? So
And
I
we've
think like
we've
Oh, I
already
like that.
Mhm.
and we've already taken that pool of past elders and
Yeah, you
pulled them out of wherever they were tucked. So now they're kind of floating around too.
Mhm.
I
Oh, I
think
like
those
that.
people might kind of be trying to find new bodies to inhabit, maybe.
Yeah, all those
Mhm.
all the ghosts of all those other elders that yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I feel like that also leaves the obsidian skeleton still around and still like a potential threat, but like no, but like now one vying as an underdog rather than one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Much more weakened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Rather than yeah.
I think Sword and Halo would want to make a big show out of, like, it's like the grand finale of the masquerade, right? It's like the
Okay.
grand, you know, they're like, oh, we have a big surprise for everyone. Everyone gather at the arena again, right? And like I think like maybe like the big, you know, final you know, act of the evening is them like invite, you know, maybe it's even mother father up on the stage being like, and we have, you know, like a very special surprise
Something
for the
even
house.
better than the
Yeah.
gymnasts, you know?
Yeah, even better than those like like spitting aerialists.
Yeah.
You know,
All right, so let's describe each of the three things we did leading to that, right? Like
Yeah, and then we can have that mother father moment. So
Yeah.
good.
yes.
I love it. I love it. Excellent. Excellent.
Ray, should we each describe the thing that we were responsible for, or should we? What's the best way to sort of to do that?
Yeah, I kind of like. Ooh, I kind of like the idea that you each use your components
Mhm.
and describe how it fuels the ritual, right? So, yeah, right. So to set the stage, we are still here at the events of the party, right? I think maybe even in order. This is just, a suggestion, right? Like we can change our minds later, but for the first time, do we want to start with Eloise because you got the first component?
Sure.
Mhm.
My component was gain access to death itself and empower, weaken, or destroy it. And yes, we saw this. Um, we saw this amazing display of Chalcedonia with his wings all turned, the feathers all turned jet black. You could almost, his skin was so fair it looked translucent, so you could like see the skeleton in his face as he becomes this sort of like agent of death, and he like challenged the avatar of death, and this giant statue sort of came alive, and they did this great battle, and in doing so the child was infused and regained the spark, and we kind of like zoom down like the way like through like the nine realms kind of thing, like this the realm of Sword and Halo is like way up high. We like tear the camera, like tears through all of these realms, and we see that like there was this bond, this celestial bond between the realms. And there's that pool where we very first saw Eloise and the child in my very first scene, where we saw like Eloise trying to transfer the power to the child and it failed, and we see this like pool of all these ghosts and swarming around, and they get like sucked up through this channel as they're infusing the ghosts, and then we see the pool is just dry and barren, and we start to see like the stones around it beginning to crack and crumble.
I love that. So good, so good. Perfect, perfect. All right. And then do we want to go to uh Kavar as part of the ritual next?
Yes. So, am I forgetting something Kavar did, or was the powerful noble that was being compromised Eloise? Or
Oh,
did
it
I do something
was
else?
you were flirting with so many people.
Yeah.
But it was,
I losing track.
but in particular, it was Kai, the commander of the Legion of the Dead. This is the one where we talked about like a tongue that came out of nowhere.
Oh, right. I
She grew
remember
a
that.
tongue for
Yes.
you.
She did. Oh, right. We just sort of see like a flash of like Kavar leaning into Kiai, right? Like whispering sweet somethings into her ear, like sort of beating flesh back onto her bones, like causing blood to pump through veins that were long since desiccated, right? Even causing like, I think, a tongue, right? Like you mentioned, to ravel itself in ribbons of flesh back into existence, right? Saliva to sort of pool on her like now plump lips that bloom out of like a skeletal bony palate, and like even like eyes, the jelly of eyes beginning to swirl and fill in once empty sockets, and that is the corruption of this noble that Kavar is trying to entice to the pleasures of the flesh.
I feel like Kai by the end of this is alive, and that's like a big problem for being like in the house of blood and bone. Like our kind of our big shtick is death. Like our big shtick is that we're dead, and so like I feel
Your
like
bones.
yeah. So she's like, I don't think she goes back, right? Like after this, she's now alive. Like she's
Could I?
and can die, right? Like it wouldn't be
Yeah.
undead anymore, right?
Yeah. Let me know how you feel about this, Connie. But I can't help but think what happens is Kiai like pulls back, like both disgusted and enthralled with what's happening to her, and like places a hand on another noble from the House of Blood and Bone, and the flesh starts to grow in the other one as well. Like it's a like almost like it's this
Contagious.
magical, yeah, right. Like so, some of them start to like grow back their flesh, and you can see people are not sure how to feel about this. Like some of the nobles are like screaming in terror, while others are like admitting that this is what they wanted, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Especially
yeah.
if you don't realize that this is like your one and only life that you're going to have now. If that doesn't dawn on them immediately, they'll be like, "Oh, cool, we get to play with being alive again. Oh, that'll be fun."
It's like when the Skeksis got plump from the podling juice for a little while in the dark crystal. It's like, oh, I'm getting young again, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, but what do you think, Connie? Like, do you feel like that makes sense for your part?
I love that. Yes, I'm really into that.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, excellent. So we can see like, and you can see the rest of the houses are. Some of them are shocked. The nobles who are not as powerful, but the more powerful ones, the elders, are very amused. Like they're watching all of this unfold, and they understand what's happening, right? They can see the power draining out of the House of Blood and Bone, right? Okay, so I think. Ida, what happens to the final component of the ritual?
So as they're being rejuvenated, somewhere in the libraries of the House of Clay and Glass, where all of the records are stored of all of the karmic debt of everybody. They're rewriting themselves. Some of their great deeds are being wiped away. Some of their evil deeds are being also wiped away. Their slates are not quite being wiped completely clean, but it's back to closer to blank. So from here on, they'll have to make their own fate going forward again. And they won't be able to rest on the laurels that they came with when they entered the room here.
Right. So the momentum of karma is no longer serving them.
Right.
They have to practically start from scratch.
Take that generational wealth and just slap it out of their ass.
Pretty much.
I feel that feels so good to me right now, being a Filipino in the Philippines. So, yeah, and I also yeah, I think there's a moment, right, where everybody can feel that things are like shifting. So this is when mother father like takes towards the stage, as you describe, Connie, right? So what is the announcement that they're going to make?
Oh, yes. We see just this like fluttering of wings and eyes. That's all Mother Father is. It's just wings and eyes, right? Like just very biblical. Like on this stage, just sort of like shuddering in and out of different various kinds of realities. I think, like, you know, we're all gods here in a way, so we don't really exist in the same static space. And their voice, which is 1,000 voices layered over each other, rings out across this arena, a multifaceted, prismatic, like a kaleidoscope filtered through daylight. And Mother Father just sort of resounds. A surprise, a final treat for everyone who has attended our ball. Something marvelous, something not unprecedented, but gorgeous, sublime, and terrible. The fall of the House of Blood and Bone. And maybe like upon that final syllable, spotlights come on every single noble that belongs to the House of Blood and Bone, except Eloise.
Nice.
Nice.
And like there's like a dramatic beat for everyone to be like, what's happening? Like a
Does
dramatic like gasp.
Does that include Azrael?
Azrael, I think maybe is also spared. I don't
Okay.
think I don't think Kavar would fuck with that. Like Kavar would know that's more trouble than it's worth to try to take the child. And is like, let's spare these two, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the battalion of angels descends.
And then the
And then the
battalion of
army
angels descends.
And then the Fire Nation attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's like an earthquake of crumbling, as like we feel like the realm of blood and bone, like even though it's a
Yep.
whole nother dimension away, we can
Yes.
feel it collapsing like underneath us. You know, we can feel the earth shaking as we all know, even though we can't. We all know in that way that we're just sort of aware of the realms that that the gates are falling, and we see the big spire where the obsidian skeleton received the child earlier, and it's collapsing, and everything's falling down.
Perfect. And I think what happens is Chalcedonia like rises up and says, "Fear not. The right of reincarnation, its power and its magic, is now safeguarded by the House of Sword and Halo. We, your angels, will guide you to the next life. We are the custodians of your continued existence for those who still have access to immortality." And he says this like he drags it out, and that's when the House of Blood and Bone realizes they no longer have that access
Yeah.
to that immortality.
I think some stay and fight, but Kai is one of the people who knows to better to GTFO and get the fuck out of here. Like I think of the ones that escape, Kai is one of those, because she's just like, I got a legion of undead, like they can fucking fight. Like I just saw firsthand from Kavar what is possible here. I know I'm gonna go live my life. Maybe Kai will still be connected to Eloise. I'm not sure, but I just feel like she would know. Like this is not a battle worth fighting. This is a battle that you're just gonna lose.
100%. All right, so the Clock of Ruin is going to move forward. Great. So I start with 1D. Did at least one noble bring another closer to their ruin? Dang. I felt like there was a lot of that. So,
I mean, I don't know how we define closer to our ruin, but
yeah.
is there a specific destination, or is there more narrative? Is there more like, did it feel like it? Is it a vibes check? Because if it's a vibes check, 100%. I feel like
Yeah.
But if there's like a technical, like if there's like a technical,
a specific. No, it feels like when I wrote it, it felt like a vibe check. It felt like I wanted to be like each person defines what that ruin is for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of that was going on. Did at least one noble ensure something from a house will survive the end of days? I feel like that did happen. Like, Yeah. You made sure Kai was able to escape, right?
Yeah, and also like I did eat 5 realms for my child live in, right? Like
Yeah.
they're not destroyed, they're somewhere. Like
Yeah.
they're
They're consumed.
consumed. Yeah.
Um, did at least one noble engage in intimacy that will make the day? I feel like we're always going to get 1D for
Yeah,
this.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Well,
Every
especially it'll make the days bittersweet. I mean, Misha,
Ah,
Oh,
that
shush.
moment, that moment of taking away that. I mean, I'm not quite
ah,
taking away that pain, but changing that painful moment. Yeah.
yeah, and also with Astra. So,
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Oh god.
well,
Yeah.
okay. So one,
Breaking my
2,
heart.
3. So I have 4 dice to roll with. Let's see how it goes. I will re-roll these 4. Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
re-rolling. Wow, my highest is a 6. Those are a lot of like. Okay, there's a 1 and a 2. Jesus. Okay.
we only take the clock once.
Oh, but that's enough to consume a house. Okay,
It is.
it is in fact. So, um, oh, and this is another. Do we have an I? This is also part of the playtest because like I kept going back and forth. Like, should it be randomized, or would it make sense that you had already weakened the House of Ash and Flame? But I kind of want that to be its own scheme.
So the houses that by
Mm-hmm,
completing the ritual of reincarnation and sort of consuming the house, we don't. It theoretically could not be ruined. Like that doesn't spell its ruin. It doesn't have its ruin until the clock.
Oh no, you brought it there. Right. So it is in fact ruined
Okay,
on
so
your
we're gonna
turn.
ruin another.
Okay.
We're gonna ruin another house at this point. Okay, got it. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh,
So it
sorry.
happens all on its own, or if we do it. Cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
I kind of like randomizing from the houses that have not been affected by a scheme or are currently occupied by a
Yeah, that
player.
makes sense. Okay, Vine and
That would
Root.
basically be anybody but Ash and Flame at this point. Because
And R3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have House of Cog and Gear, House of Vine and Root, House of Sand and Mist, right? Are the 3 that are on the table.
Yes.
Yeah. We can roll 1d6. We can have a fortune roll.
Sure.
1 and 2 Cog and Gear, and 3 and 4 will be Vine and Root, and 5 and 6 will be Sand and Mist. Okay. That's what I will do. I will roll. Okay. This 1 die. Cog and Gear. Ooh. Okay, so Cog and Gear is destroyed. Ooh. Okay, I think what happens is I think during like so the clock of ruin like strikes, right? And only as far as you know, only the 3 of you can feel it when the clock of ruin strikes, right? But there is a moment, Eloise, when Azrael, your child, looks at you and says, "I can hear it, Mother. It's coming. The machines resisted, but there is no resisting ruin." And I think that's when we reveal like several of the angels that were like falling. Some of them open up to reveal the machinery, right, that is underneath them. And we realize like parts of, because of the way that the ritual was produced, like the House of Cog and Gear was trying to resist and fell to the magic of the ritual. We see several of the nobles of the House of Cog and Gear, the machinery, get up, screeching gears, like coming off of them, like reaching out towards the rest of the nobles. But the other nobles are like, this is not affecting me. I don't know what happened to you. Right? Like they're just sort of like pushing them away, walking away from what's happening as several of the nobles fall to the ruin, right? You can see the curse start to overtake them. The metal turns to rust, turns to dust, right? And so I think it's shocking to the 3 of you, like how quickly this happened and how the nobles are so uncaring about it. Like not a single one of them are freaking out
Yeah.
about what's going on.
I think when Azrael says that, I like grab a hold of him and put my hand over, like I wrap him like in a hug, but I put my hand over his mouth, like hush, don't reveal that you have heard the chime. Like you have to keep that secret. And then I see them all like not giving a shit, and I'm just like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I was just being overcautious. Like if nobody cared, and then we can see like my hand relax away. Like, oh, I guess nobody cared. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like it reminds you, maybe these people deserve annihilation. So, there's a moment where Mutakad suddenly appears at your side, Ada, and says, that was a marvelous show. Very flashy for you, beloved.
Sometimes one must compromise when working with others.
Yes, I understand. It is one of the many things I love about you, your gift of compromise. And
Both
so, like,
Motakad and Ray are very good at twisting things that people say.
Very
what? Feigns innocence. And I think like you see Mutakad like take the crown that the Clockwork King like had carried, like it had been turning to rust and dust, but Mutakad touches it, and those shifting time thing, that magic that like Mutakad has like control over, like reverts the crown back to this pristine, beautiful shape that it is. And Mutakad places the crown on your head, once again drawing the attention of several nobles, and just smiles enigmatically, and you can hear the nobles are like, what did Mutakad give her?
I take the crown off my head and just kind of tweak it a little and wrap it around my neck like a choker instead. Because that is too flashy for me. No. Choker, baby.
Love it.
I think when you do that, Mutakad leans in close and says, for you to wear a collar so openly, beloved, you know me so well.
I know many things about you, my love.
I hold no secrets from you, they say. But you know that they are lying.
Oh, yeah. So much.
100%.
I mean, secrets are good. You gotta all have secrets. I now want a crown that starts at the neck. I now want a crown that like starts at the neck, wraps around, goes around the side of the head, and then just keeps going up. Right?
Kind of like
that is
what's his
sexy.
face from the Hobbit movies.
Oh.
Lee Paces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
When
that's
you
so
said
cool.
the choker, I was like, what if it just kept going? What if it like
that could be arranged.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, so
should
we
take
have
a break? Or
yeah, I was about to say, and then we'll dive into interlude.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna throw this up, and we'll be back in 5-ish minutes, as much time as I need to drink tea. And we all time to get back. See you all soon. Bye.